Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we have discussed a number of things on this channel, but one of the things that we really haven't talked about are some of the cons of this job. Now, you know, my cons aren't that serious, but I'm sure you guys still want to know, like Fierceness, what don't you like and what do you like? So we're gonna talk about some pros and we're gonna talk about some cons. And also, as a little special addition for you guys, I interviewed two of my colleagues that I flew with on my last trip. One has been flying for 17 years and the other literally just made a year. I am a 2-year flight attendant, for those of you who do not know. I have only been flying for 2 years. So I'm gonna share with you my pros and cons and also their pros and cons. They are not going to be actually in this video, but I'm going to share what their thoughts were. So my first pro is the flexibility. Like, the flexibility is so unreal. We get definitely 10 days off per month. However, you can essentially make your own schedule. If you know what you need, and even if you bid and you don't get it off, you can make your own schedule. With some hard work and some determination, you will make that schedule work for you. So that means if you need to attend a wedding, if you're attending a baby shower, you know, whatever it is that you need that special day off, if you don't get it when you bid for it, you will be able to get on to open time and do your thing. The second thing, job security. And for those of you who, you know, were in a profession or are, you know, not like coming from being a college graduate, not that that's not a great thing, but for those of you that came from another career like I did, I left a $100,000 job to become a flight attendant. The job security was really important to me. And I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. As long as you do your job, you do it with integrity, you know, are that team player and work with your coworkers, this job is going to be here for you. Remember, safety is our #1 priority. There's also customer service, there's team player, you know, activities. It all goes into one, but as long as you do everything you're supposed to do, your job is secure. The third thing for me is the free travel. That means during work, while I'm working and having my layovers, or if I'm traveling domestically. I told you guys you do have to pay the international taxes, but boo-hoo, $60 to go to Paris for my fiance? Unreal. The fourth thing is being able to swap and drop trips. Like, that is so amazing to me, and I just love that. Just, again, making your own schedule. And like I said, you essentially create your schedule, and sometimes, guys, it's like a game, right? It's like you're creating this puzzle, like you're building a little puzzle, and certain pieces are missing, but you just don't stop. You just keep doing what you gotta do until the puzzle comes together and it all makes sense. And you see this little curl? This little curl is like on its merry way, doing its thing. But you're creating a puzzle, so sometimes it's kind of fun. You know, it's interesting. I can't share a whole lot surrounding all of that. But the last thing I'll say for a pro for me is the ability to have a second job, the ability to do something else. A lot of flight attendants have a second job. Once you learn how to master your schedule, you just wait till you're off probation and all that good stuff. You master your schedule and you can have a second job. So I think that's really, really cool. Now, as for cons, I don't have a lot, but I'm gonna share some that I think could be a con. So commuting, if you're a commuter, it could be a con for you because sometimes the flight loads can get crazy if the weather is bad, or, you know, you can always like book the jump seat, but commuting, I guess if you treat it like another aspect of the job, like it's a job for you, then you won't have any problems commuting. But still, like, let's say, I don't know, you live somewhere on the West Coast, but you're based here in New York City, you do have to, you know, implement some sort of schedule because you gotta commute and you gotta make sure things make sense and give yourself backup flights and all of that. So that could be a con. And the days, another con is that the days aren't as glamorous. And when I say that the days aren't as glamorous, I am solely meaning like things can just go wrong, delays and all of that. Because when it comes to like a physical glamour, I beats my face, I does my hair, and I am always like about that physical glamour. And that's just me on a daily. I love to get dressed and take care of myself. So while the day might not be that glamorous, hunty, oh, I am going to be glamorous. you know, in uniform, because that's very, very important to me and it goes with the brand. But don't always expect that just because you see, you know, me put up a Snapchat with me like looking all glamorous, that the day is like that, because it's not always like that. You know, you're dealing with different things. My last flight, you know, there was a body being brought onto the plane as we were deplaning. So that's really sad. If you have a heart, and I hope you do, then that bothered me. But at the same time, looking out the window and seeing the body, I respected how our ground crew stood around and were on, you know, they were honoring this person as they were being brought onto the plane. So sometimes the days just aren't glamorous, guys. Like, people are traveling for all different reasons. You're going to encounter all different people, but you just make sure that you just continue to be you, which is a good person, I hope, and you just continue to uphold the brand. The third thing is, you know, again, like delays. You know, not always, but if you have plans, I've learned to never plan. I haven't ran into many delays, like knock on some wood around here somewhere. I haven't ran into many delays, but you know, you never want to make those plans right after work because that can potentially be an issue. And the last thing I would say is the money. Like, even though the hourly rate is great and you get all these little incentives here and there, as a new hire, sometimes it may not be enough money for you. I wasn't faced with that situation, but some people were. So you want to make sure that you save as much as you can, and you know, before you go in, you want to make sure that you are as financially stable as possible, because you're gonna have to work your butt off to really get the money that you want to make, or maybe it'll be good for you. It just depends on what you're used to making. Now let's talk about the 1-year flight attendant pros versus the 17-year flight attendant pros, and then we'll talk about their cons. So the 1-year flight attendant said that her pros are taking her mom to all the places that she's always wanted to take her. If that is not absolutely amazing and gives you the chills, then I don't know what would. How beautiful is it to be able to take your parents somewhere that they wish they could have taken you? Like, for example, I wasn't one of those kids that went to Disney World. I've still never been, but maybe it's a Disney World or Disneyland, whatever. We're gonna say Disney. But maybe I'll take my mom someday. God bless my father. He has he's passed. My dad passed, but maybe I will take my mom someday. So you never know. That's awesome. She said the stability, and you know, she's pretty young. I don't remember her exact age, but like much younger than I am. And she was saying that the stability for her is amazing. So this is just one of those things, guys, where it's going to be stable no matter how old you are. When you're coming in, as long as you do what you got to do, it's all yours, boo-boo. And then she said it's always new and exciting for her. And I thought that was such a great, I thought those are such great pros. You know, the 17-year flight attendant says the flexibility, the benefits and the layovers, and doing something different each day. And I can totally understand that. It's just so wonderful to see that even at 17 years in, she's still enjoying her benefits and her layovers. So this is something that can be a career for you if you stick with it and just make it work for you. And then doing something different each day, that's true, because even though you guys, I tell you guys I do a lot of turns, they're all different. Like, I have learned that Palm Beach is different from Orlando, and it's different from Miami, which is different from Fort Lauderdale or Fort Myers. Like, even though these are the Florida markets, these are completely different. The other thing is the cons for the 1-year flight attendant: emotional support animals. We've talked about those. She said her friends don't understand that she has to work holidays and weekends, and that could be an issue for some people, you know. So I thought that was great that she's just being honest and saying that. And then she said, what's that word? Oh, and the third thing she said was shady flight attendants. You know, and you will work with a bunch of different people. You will decide who you like versus who you do not like, and then you will just go from there. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. Okay. And then the 17-year flight attendant said her cons are always working. Oh, I wrote this so fast. Always working with someone new. So she said that was kind of like a pro and a con. So what she meant by that is, like, sometimes you work with people and you absolutely love them and you're like, oh my gosh, like, am I gonna see you again? Like, it's like a relationship, like, and then if y'all broken up and you don't see them for like 6 months, yes, you can get their phone number, but it's just something about having that wonderful energy while working a flight that you just wish that you could work with the same person. Now on the flip side, you could work with someone who you can't stand and you're like, oh God, like I'm good on them. Okay, so it really depends. And then she said the con, another con, which I thought this was just, I loved it. Seniority. She said seniority is a con for her. Now, I thought that was so interesting. So as she explained, she said that even though your seniority goes up, you're still never senior enough. And that makes so much sense. It's like, even though I'm moving, it's like you'll never be senior enough unless you're number one. And I ain't gonna be number one. Listen, guys, I hope this video has been a little bit helpful. A lot of you reach out and you don't know whether you should do it versus if you shouldn't do it. I'm gonna tell you, if you want it, go for it. You know, I always tell you guys that because I feel like you cannot knock something until you try it. You have to try it to know. So if this is what you want, you go after it. And I just appreciate you guys for rocking with me. And I love all of your comments and your feedback. I'm watching, baby. I'm watching. I'm reading. And I want you guys to continue suggesting videos. Drop them down below. Drop them down below. Or below. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. I hope you guys are all doing well and taking wonderful care of yourself. And I will be talking to you guys in the next video. Bye.